What's going on, Ravens fans? It is cut day, bloody cut day, and that's what we're talking about on today's episode of the Ravens Rundown. Baltimore has been trimming down the roster over the past 24 hours as they get ready to officially submit it in about 20 to 15 minutes. 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern is the deadline, and that also includes one very surprising cut, okay? They've made a few cuts over the last 24 hours. Up to, I think, as of right now in this current recording, up to 8 cuts. Only 2 cuts yesterday. They've been a lot busier today, but still, regardless, 8 cuts total. They are on the very lower end of the spectrum in terms of what other NFL teams have done. Other NFL teams have cut close to 30 players. I mean, they had practice today with like 75 guys out on that field. And that 53-man, it's not going to come out at 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's just when they have to turn it into the National Football League. If you know the Ravens, they like to hold that for some reason close to the vest for a little while before they make it official. Something that didn't stay close to the vest for long is the fact that Jalyn Armour-Davis, reported by Jordan Schultz, has been released by the Baltimore Ravens. The former Alabama star should find a new home soon, and I think that he will find a new home soon. You know why? Because he's a really good player. This really, really surprised me, if I'm being 100% honest, because I kind of thought Armour-Davis was a shoo-in. And not necessarily because he was this unbelievable talent, but I just thought he'd be a really, really nice depth piece in a cornerback room where a lot of those corners had dealt with injuries. I mean, think of Jair Alexander. Think of Chidobe Awuzie. What word has defined their playing career over the last 3 seasons? I guess what 2 words? Injury plagued. And so to have a guy like Jalyn Armour-Davis, I don't care how far he is down the depth chart, to still have him on your 53-man roster, I thought would have been a wise decision for this team, just in case something like that happens. And one of the reasons I thought he was such a shoo-in as well is because Zach Orr kind of made it feel like it. Back in the late July, in the end of July, I should say, he said Jalyn is probably the smartest defensive back in the room because he knows all the positions and can play them all well. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to do real good things for us. And then 4 weeks later, he's cut. I thought he did enough to make the roster. I'm not the only one who was surprised. Jeff Zrebiak with The Athletic tweeted out that he was shocked when it happened. Jonas Schaefer tweeted out the exact same thing. He was shocked when it happened as well. And here we are. Jalyn Armour-Davis got to get scooped up by somebody soon who feels like Baltimore made a very big mistake. What isn't a big mistake is subscribing to the channel, and I need you guys to do that today because we are so close to 34,000 subscribers, okay? So do it for Keaton Mitchell. 158 subs away. That should say subs to 34K. That's my bad on that. Regardless, I need 158 diehard Ravens fan to join us right here on the Ravens Rundown for daily updates, no matter the time, no matter the situation, on the Ravens Rundown. I will say, with the news from Jalyn Armour-Davis, it is most likely good news for Ruben Lowery and Keon Martin. Now, I thought there was room for all of them to make the depth chart still, especially because I just kind of assumed that Ruben Lowery was going to make it in the safety room, Keon Martin in the cornerback room, and then they'd have room for Jalyn Armour-Davis as well. I still don't know where they're going to put Lowery officially. I don't know if he's going to be a safety or a cornerback when the actual roster comes out itself. But with Jalyn Armour-Davis gone, you kind of feel like those 2 UDFAs have almost locked up a spot. The other Ravens cuts from today that you may have missed, and trust me, I got Twitter open right here. I'm refreshing to make sure I don't miss anything else. Devin Leary, MJ Devonshire, Reid Holskey, Baylor Cupp, and also this was a List 5 logo gauge, if we could get that up. One that was more recently announced was, Lucas Scott, the fullback. He should be on that list as well. It's fine. We can just skip over it. 2 other names that have most recently come out, Tank Lichtenhan, Jordan Schultz also released that information, and Zaire Mitchell-Payton, the tight end, he also got released today. So that upped the count, I think, to 8 total players. So they're getting close. They still got a long way to go. If you think about it, they got to go from 90 to 53, and there are only 8 on the way there. So it's going to be a long day for Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh. One of the things that we talked about over the last couple of days is the linebacker position and what that's going to mean for UDFA Jay Higgins. Well, we always thought his way onto the roster was if Jake Hummel was off the roster. And yesterday we got this little tidbit from John Harbaugh saying that Jake Hummel will be on the 53-man. He had a minor hand procedure, should return to practice today. Of course, that was yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This kind of frustrates me. It seems a little bit like it's a mistake if I'm being 100% honest. Like, what has Jake Hummel done to prove he deserves a roster spot other than being signed as a free agent? I can't really think of anything. And I think if the roles were reversed, then it would play out the exact same way. I'm talking if they signed Jay Higgins in free agency and if Jake Hummel was a UDFA. Like, I kind of feel like their titles are what's helping Baltimore Ravens officials make this decision. That might be conspiracy theory. I might have my tinfoil hat on when I say that, but still, I hope, it's not official yet, but I hope that Jay Higgins ends up making this roster. Tell me, were you surprised by the Jalyn Armour-Davis cut? Because I'm not going to lie to you, I was pretty shocked about it. So you get down there in the comment section and let me know how you're feeling about it by giving me a yes or a no. I've got something you should say yes to, though, okay? How about Prize Picks? If you love watching football, if you love winning money, then Prize Picks is the perfect place for you because you get to do both at the exact same time, ladies and gentlemen. And this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Preseason football is done. College football is here. So don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. No pro football on this weekend. Still got to wait one more week, but we do have college football. Massive kickoff game. Texas, Ohio State. If you're going to be interested in any game this weekend, it's going to be that one. So might as well, make it a little more fun. I got the more on Arch Manning pass touchdowns, 1.5. I also have the more on Jeremiah Smith receiving yards, 77.5. And this was one I just liked a lot. Give me the less on Garrett Nussmeier, 278.5 pass yards, going up against the Clemson defense that has a lot of really good players on it. Some future top 10 picks. So you can download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. Excuse me while I refresh over there. Here comes another cut. Bo Braid has officially been cut by the Baltimore Ravens. Bo Braid, one of those guys that had a chance to earn a roster spot over this offseason, right? With the injury to Ardarius Washington, he had the opportunity to come in, swoop in, make himself known, give himself a chance. Unfortunately, he did not do that. Real quick, before we get on out of here, let's roll down my roster projection. We can see things I've gotten wrong from yesterday, things I still have right as of the moment. Lamar Jackson, Cooper Rush, those are 1 and your 2, QB1, QB2. I still do think they take 4 running backs, okay? So give me Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, and Rasheen Ali. I think these 4 are like all but guaranteed to make a roster spot. I know Rasheen Ali, some people might think he's on the brink of not, but everything we've heard from John Harbaugh makes us think that he's going to end up making it. For the wide receiver room, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, LaJohntay Wester, Tylan Wallace, and Devontae Walker. This wide receiver room's a lot more easy, I think, to figure out this year than it was last year, and those 6 will be the guys. For the tight end / fullback room, they're going to take 3 tight ends, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kolar. The question is going to be whether Isaiah Likely is going to be on IR or not. I have a feeling he's not going to, and so he's one of the 3rd tight ends, and then Patrick Ricard in there at the fullback position. I have them taking 9 offensive linemen, because if you take 4 running backs, somewhere's got to give, and I think that's the offensive line. Ronnie Stanley, Andrew Voorhees, Tyler Linderbaum, Daniel Faalele, Roger Rosengart, Joseph Noteboom, Corey Bullock, Ben Cleveland, and Carson Vincent. Over the defensive side of the football, all of these remain intact. Nnamdi Madubuike, Travis Jones, John Jenkins, Broderick Washington, and Anais Peebles, I think, as your 5 you take. Now, something to keep note of. John Jenkins didn't practice today. I don't know what that means, but I got a feeling they like him a lot, and that doesn't mean he's off this roster. Outside linebackers, Adafe Owe, Kyle Van Noy, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, and David Ajabo are your 5 outside linebackers, your 5 edge rushers that I've got making this roster. This is where I feel like I'm going to have my first thing wrong from yesterday to today. This was my projection for linebackers. Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, Teddy Buchanan, and I gave the nod to Jay Higgins over Jake Hummel. However, now that Jalyn Armour-Davis is cut, I could see them going to 6 cornerbacks and maybe 5 inside linebackers and giving Jay Higgins a spot as well as Jake Hummel. Because then you go to the cornerbacks room and you see I have 7 total. Obviously, Jalyn Armour-Davis isn't making the roster. I would almost guarantee the other 6 on that list do, with Keon Martin, TJ Tampa, Chidobe Awuzie, Jair Alexander, Nate Wiggins, and Marlon Humphrey. And then that gets us to the safety room. Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, Sanusi Kane, and Ruben Lowry. That's everybody I got on offense and defense. And then, of course, kickers and special teams are people too. Tyler Luke, Jordan Stout, and Nick Moore. That is my 53-man roster projection. Obviously, I'm wrong with Jalyn Armour-Davis. We'll see if I'm right or wrong about Jay Higgins. I hope that I'm right. Name a surprise cut candidate for me in the comment section down below. Okay, Jalyn Armour-Davis, was that a surprise? Let me know if you got anybody else in the comment section that you think is a surprise. Just refresh Twitter. Nothing new. So if you're watching this right now, hopefully you watch it soon. Everything's going to be up to date. Make sure you got me followed on social media. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Ravens Rundown, we do this thing daily, all the latest on the Baltimore Ravens.